we're going to come down into a nice comfortable seat to start off this morning. And again, if you didn't hear me in the beginning, grab yourself a throw blanket or a pillow, just so that we can support ourselves in our final relaxation. But other than that, you should be pretty good. Let's come down into a nice comfortable seat. We're going to sit up nice and long and tall with that spine. Close down those eyes. Take time to root those sit bones deeply into the floor. And begin to notice the breath. Just notice that gentle guided rhythm of breath as it flows in and out of your body. Maybe even seeing if you can deepen that breath a little bit here, coming into a little bit more of a steady rhythm, a little bit more of a steady flow. And today we're going to work with an intention, and I'd like you to set an intention that feels good for you today. So whatever it is that you can find within your heart space, whether that be gratitude, love, strength, peace, serenity, anything at all, bring it into the heart. And as we roll through this practice this morning, continually begin to bring that intention back in. If your mind begins to get lost along the way with thoughts of other things that are taking place in our lives or anything at all, anything bubbling up for you into emotions, find space to replace that with your intention. Allow this intention to guide your practice and allow it to guide your day. Let's take about 3 more rounds of breath here, nice clearing rounds of breath. When you finish that third and final round of breath, on our next inhalation, we're going to rise those arms straight up and overhead. Exhaling, let's bring those hands down through to heart center. This morning, I'd like to start off this practice with the sound of Om, so that we can all connect ourselves into that nice gentle vibration into our heart. So on your next inhalation, let's begin to open up this practice with the sound of Om. Exhalation, let's drop those fingertips down beside the hips and gently open up those eyes. On our next inhalation, you're going to rise that left arm straight up to the sky. Exhaling, let's inch those right fingertips out towards the right side of the room. Firm foundation into your palm. Actively reach up and over towards that right side of the room. Activating into that left side body. Keep your left shoulder rotated back. Right shoulder rotates forward so that you're opening up through the heart. Good. On our next inhalation, you're going to rise straight back up to the sky. Exhale, left fingertip down to the floor. Inhale, right arm comes up. Exhaling, inch the left fingertips out towards that left side of the room. Again, firm foundation in the palm. Reach that right arm up and over, coming into that nice side body stretch. Right shoulder rotates back, left shoulder rotates forward. Opening up here into that side body. Good. Inhaling, we're going to rise that right fingertip straight back up to the sky. Exhale, right fingertip back down to the floor. You're going to send your right hand behind your right hip. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, let's bring that left hand to the outside edge of your right knee. Gaze comes over your right shoulder. With every inhale, find a little bit of length up through your spine. Every exhale, shift your gaze over towards that right shoulder. Breathe. Finding that nice gentle twist into the spine. And on our next exhalation, let's unravel, come back through to center. Plant that left hand behind your left hip. Inhale, right arm up to the sky. Exhale, right hand to the outside edge of your left knee. Gaze comes over that left shoulder. Again, every inhale, find a little bit of length. Every exhale, find a little extra space to twist. Using your breath as your guide. 2 more active breaths. And on our next exhalation, let's unravel, come back through to center. We're going to plant both hands onto the tops of the knees. So right hand to your right knee, left hand to your left knee. Inhale, open up through that heart, come into a nice openness into the chest. And then exhale, hinge and round through the hip, round out through the spine, lengthen through the arms, chin to chest. Inhaling once again, rise up through that chest, open up through the heart. And exhale, hinge and round. Let's do that about 3 more rounds with your own breath. When you finish that third and final round, we're going to lengthen straight back up through the spine. On your next exhalation, let's make our way up into our neutral tabletop. Once you've landed into that neutral tabletop, we're going to work our way down into our puppy pose. So walk those hands out in front of the body. Root that chest down in between the arms. Spread those fingertips nice and wide. You're welcome to either bring the forehead down towards the floor, or maybe see if you can bring the chin to the floor to open up a little bit deeper through the heart and the chest. Knees are in line with the hips. Breathe here. On our next inhalation, let's rise it back up into your neutral tabletop. On your next exhalation, you're going to send that right heel towards the back of the room. Keep your right toe rotated in so that your hips are level and square. Finding a nice gentle activation into your core. You're welcome to stay right here. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, reach that left fingertip up towards the front of the room, opening up a little bit deeper into that core. Again, you can stay right here. If you want to take it one step further, left elbow to your right knee. Inhale, lengthen it straight back out. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Inhale it out. Let's do about 2 more with your own breath. When you finish that final one, we're going to lengthen straight back out. Let's dive that left hand down to the floor. Wing your left toe slightly out towards that left side of the room. Rotate your right hip up to the sky. Right fingertip comes up to the sky, so you're coming into your baby half moon. Breathe, find balance. If this is too much for you and you need to balance a little bit further with that right toe to the back of the mat, you're always welcome to use it. If you want to take this pose a little bit further here today, you can take a bend into your right knee, take hold of that right ankle with your right hand, open up through the heart and the chest. Breathing here. Good. Exhaling, let's release that. Hold right toe towards the back of the room, right arm up straight back up to the sky. Exhale, right hand down to the floor. Keep that right toe to the back of the mat. Curl the toes under and press your hips back so you're coming into a nice gentle calf stretch. Give it a couple bops forward and back a couple times. And then whenever you're ready, right knee comes back in line with the left. Exhaling, you're going to send that left heel straight out towards the back of the room. Keep your left toe rotated in so hips are level and square, nice and active into your core. Whenever you're ready, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, you might reach your right fingertip up towards the front of the room. Holding here. If you want to take it one step further, hug your right elbow to your left knee. Inhale, lengthen it straight back up. Exhale, hug elbow to knee. Inhale it out. 2 more. Last one. Lengthen that straight back out. Exhale, you're going to guide your right hand down to the floor. Wing your right toe out towards the right side of the room. Rotate that left hip up to the sky. Left fingertip comes up to the sky, coming into your baby half moon. Breathe here. Again, if you need to for balance, you can always bring that toe to the back of the mat. Hang out wherever feels good for you. If you want to take this pose a little bit deeper, take a bend into that left knee. Woo. Grab hold of that ankle, open up through the heart and the chest. Find your hold. Exhaling, let's release. Send that left heel towards the back of the room, left arm up to the sky. Left hand down to the floor, left toe to the back of the mat. Curl the toes under. Press those hips back, a couple gentle pulses towards the back of the room. Then on our next exhalation, you're going to bring that right toe to meet the left. So you're coming into a plank pose. If you need to, modified plank is always there, so knees are slightly back from the hips, uncurl the back toes. Listen to what feels good for you today. Find your hold, 2 more strong breaths. And exhale, hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Start to pedal out those feet for this first down dog. Walk the heels down to the floor. Spread those fingertips nice and wide. Keep actively pressing the hips towards the back of the room. On our next inhalation, we're going to look forward. Exhale, take a slight bend in the knee, walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, let's rise those arms all the way up and overhead, look up to your hands. Exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Inhaling halfway. Exhale, firmly plant the hands, walk or hop your feet to the back of the mat, lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale it up into your back bend. And exhale, hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Breathing, find that hold. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Maybe pedal at the heels a couple more times if you need. 2 more breaths. Inhaling, let's look forward. Exhale, take a slight bend on the knee, walk or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhaling, find that halfway lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, let's rise those arms all the way up and overhead, look up to your hands. Exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Inhaling halfway. Exhale, firmly plant the hands, walk or hop your feet to the back of the mat, lower down chaturanga. Inhale it up into your back bend. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take 1 full inhale, exhale, sigh it out if you need. Inhaling, right leg goes straight up to the sky. Exhale, you're going to plant your right foot in between your hands, rotate your left foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Windmill it up into your warrior 2. Arms are long and strong here. Breathe. Right knee out towards your right pinky toe. Sink it a little bit lower into your pose. Whenever you're ready, we're going to exalt that warrior. So left fingertip down the back side of the body, right fingertip up to the sky. Gaze comes up towards your right fingertip. If you want to take this pose a little bit deeper, wrap that left arm around the back side of the body, reaching for your front right thigh. Sink those hips a little bit lower. Inhaling, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhale, sink it back to your warrior 2. From here, you're going to lengthen up through that front right leg. Reach as far forward as you can. Right fingertip down to your right shin. Left arm goes straight up to the sky. Utthita Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Gaze comes up towards that left thumb. Inhaling, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhale, you're going to plant your hands to your hips. From here, you're going to hop that left foot halfway up onto the mat. So the left toe is pointing up towards that top left corner of your mat. Hips are nice and level and square. So right hip comes back, left hip comes forward. Take 1 full inhale, find length up through your spine. Exhale, hinge and fold over that right leg. Gaze comes down towards your right big toe, nice flat spine. Hands can come to wherever it feels good. So that could be the shin. Maybe you have a little extra space today and you can bring your fingertips to the floor. Whatever feels good. Gaze comes down towards your right big toe. On your next exhalation, your hands come back up to the hips. Inhale, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhale, you're going to keep a slight bend into your front right knee. Slowly begin to guide that left heel up. So it might just become inches from the floor, or maybe you can see if you have the space to lift it up a little bit higher. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe even so it's in line with the hip. Find space for your hold here. Balance it out. Lift as high as you can. 2 more breaths. Exhaling, left foot comes back down to meet the right. Toes together, heels slightly apart, hands down beside the hips, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhaling, find that halfway lift. Exhale, firmly plant the hands, walk or hop your feet to the back of the mat, lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale it up into your back bend. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take 1 full inhale, exhale, sigh that out. Inhaling, left leg goes straight up to the sky. Exhale, let's plant that left foot in between your hands. Rotate your right foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Windmill it up into your warrior 2. Nice and long and strong into this warrior 2. So left knee out towards that left pinky toe. Arms are in line with the hips. Keep that strong, strong pose. Whenever you're ready, we'll begin to exalt that warrior. Right fingertip down the back side of the body. Left fingertip up to the sky. Gaze comes up towards your left fingertip. Again, you might stay right here or maybe wrap your right arm around the back side of the body, reaching for your front left thigh. Make sure you have that deep bend into your front left knee. Inhaling, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhale, sink it back into your warrior 2, nice and strong. Whenever you're ready, you're going to lengthen up through that front left leg. Reach as far forward as you can. Exhale, left fingertip down to that left shin. Right arm goes straight up to the sky. Utthita Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Nice, strong, flowing breath. Inhaling, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhaling, let's plant those hands onto the hips. Take a slight bend into your front left knee. From here, you're going to hop that right foot just about halfway up towards the top of the mat. Right toe is pointed up towards that top right corner. So your hips are level and square. Left hip back, right hip forward. Take 1 full inhale, find length up through your spine. Exhale, hinge and fold over that left leg. Gaze comes down towards that left big toe. You might bring those hands to the shins. Maybe if you have a little extra space today, you'll bring those fingertips to the floor. So again, listen to where it feels good for you. Exhaling, let's bring those hands to the hips. Inhale, we'll rise that torso straight back up. Exhaling, let's take a slight bend into your front left knee. From here, we're going to slowly begin to rise that right heel up, hovering it inches up off the floor. If you have the space today, see if you can lift it up a little bit higher, maybe even in line with the hip. Challenge yourself today. Work into that quadricep, that gluteal muscle. Breathe. Two more strong breaths if you can. Exhaling, let's bring that right foot back down to meet the left. From here, we're going to heel toe those feet so that the hips are coming straight down, the heels are coming straight from the hips, nice and open into the hips. Hands still stay onto the hips. Inhale, find length up through your spine. Exhale, let's take a slight bend into the knees. Hinge and fold over the legs. Drop those fingertips and wrap the middle finger and index fingers around your big toes. Take 1 full inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Splay the elbows to the outside edges of the room. Let that head drop nice and heavy. Maybe even start to nod, bob, sway your head from side to side. Letting go of any tenderness, tension that might have been built up. Now you're welcome to stay right here if you want to take this pose a little bit further today. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, let's bring those hands underneath of the feet. Palms underneath of the feet so that the toes are coming to the wrist joint, coming into your Padahastasana. Let that head drop heavy, elbows splay out. Good. On our next inhalation, we're going to find that halfway lift, nice flat spine. Exhale, firmly plant the hands down to the floor, hop the feet to the back of the mat, lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale it up into your back bend. And exhale, let's bring those hips up and back into a child pose. If you went to your down dog, let's just bring it down into a quick child. Knees are as wide as your mat, toes together, sink those hips nice and low. Let the forehead rest heavy. Let's come into an activated child today. So let's rise the palms up off of the floor, coming up onto those fingertips. We're going to work through those shoulders a little bit. So we'll root that right shoulder a little bit closer towards the floor. Inhale it up to center. Exhale, left shoulder a little bit closer to the floor. Inhale to center. Exhale, right. Inhale to center. Exhale, left. Good. Inhale, let's come up to center. Let's plant those palms back down to the floor and slowly begin to roll yourself up into a seated position. Awesome. From here, we're going to bring those knees together. Hips are going to come up off of the heels. So we're going to take it into a little bit of a back bend variation today. So whenever you're ready, your hips are going to point forward. You're going to bring those hands just to the low back. Elbows are squeezing as actively as you can towards one another. Take one full inhale, rise up through your chest, gaze comes up towards the sky. Press your hips forward and see if you can open up into a nice heart opener. Gaze might come up a little bit further to the sky, or if you have lots of space today, your gaze might even come towards the back of the room. Keep actively squeezing those elbows together. 2 more breaths. Inhaling, let's rise that torso straight back up. Exhale, press your hips back down to the heels. Quick child pose before we come up into one more variation of that. Let the head drop nice and heavy. Good. Inhaling once again, let's roll ourselves up into that nice seated position. Hips are lifted up off of your heels. Whenever you're ready, you can take the same variation of the first one if you'd like. So hands to that low back, squeeze the elbows together. If you have lots of space today, you might see if you can interlace your fingertips, shine the knuckles down towards the floor. Again, inhale, find length up through your spine, press your hips forward, slowly begin to open that gaze up towards the sky. Or if you have lots of space today, you might even shift your gaze towards the back of the room. Again, listen to what feels good for you today. Finding space for your hold. 2 more breaths if you can. Good. Inhaling, let's guide that torso straight back up. Exhaling, let's release those hands, sink it back into a quick child pose one more time. Maybe even give those hips a gentle shimmy from side to side, letting go of any tenderness, tension that might have been built up. Awesome. And then whenever we're ready, we're going to roll ourselves up into a seated position and swing those feet back around to the front of the mat. Let's lengthen that left leg out in front of the body and bring your right foot into the inner left thigh. On our next inhalation, you're going to flex that left toe back towards the face. Take one full inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold over your left leg. Take hold of wherever you can. So that could be the calf, might be the ankle, might be the foot. Gaze comes down towards your left big toe. Use your breath as your guide and come back to that intention that you might have set for your practice today. If you lost it along the way, take time to come back to that intention. Whatever it was that you set within your heart space. Inhaling, we'll find that length straight back up through that spine. Let's bring that left foot in to meet your right. So you're coming into a Baddha Konasana. From here, we're going to actively peel those feet apart from one another, almost as if they're opening up like a book. And I'd like you today to just use those thumbs to roll into the balls of the feet, roll into the toes, start to roll into the centers of the feet and the heels. Give yourselves a nice gentle massage here. So sometimes it feels really good to work into those feet. We're on these things all day. I don't know how often we are now that we're at home, but we're on them enough to give ourselves a little bit of a massage. Good. On our next inhalation, we're going to find length up through that spine. Exhale, hinge and round out through the spine, chin to chest, crown of the head down towards the tips of the toes. Let those knees stay floated open nice and wide, breathing here. Good. Inhale, let's guide that torso straight back up. Exhale, you're going to send your right heel straight out towards the front of the room. Again, flex your right toe back towards the face. Left foot is into that inner right thigh. Take one full inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold. Take hold of wherever you can. Calf, ankle, maybe the foot. Again, gaze comes down towards your right big toe. Nice active guide with the breath. Good. On our next inhalation, we're going to roll that torso straight back up. Exhale, you're going to guide that left knee straight up into center, and you're going to take a bend into your right knee. From here, you're going to press those hips slightly forward and lower yourselves down onto the back. Good. Once you've landed onto the back, you're going to hug your right knee in towards the chest, wrap the hands around the shin, and hug your right knee up towards your right shoulder ball. Now you might keep your left knee bent. If you want to take this a little bit further, lengthen that left heel straight out towards the front of the room, so you're opening up into that left hip flexor. Keep actively hugging that right knee up towards your right shoulder. Give it a nice gentle rock sway from side to side. If you like to play with movement, play with that hip. And on our next inhalation, let's guide that left knee back up in towards the chest. And exhale, you're going to extend that right heel either down to the floor or lengthen it straight out towards the front of the room. Again, hug that left knee up towards your left shoulder ball, so just to the outside of the rib cage. You might find that gentle rock sway into that left hip from side to side, letting go of any tenderness, tension that might have been built up. Good. Inhaling, let's guide that right knee back up in towards the chest. Exhaling, you're going to open those knees up nice and wide and gently press the knees down towards the shoulders. Now you might stay right here. If you want to take it up into the full length of your happy baby pose, grab hold of either the ankles or the bottoms of the feet. Gently press your knees down towards the earth. From here, you might add a slight rock sway from side to side, opening up a little bit further into those hips. Breathe. And again, if you know and love to play with this pose, you can always work towards bending, taking a deeper bend into your right knee and lengthening out through the left. And then taking a deeper bend into that left knee and lengthening out through the right. Finding space to play a little bit with the pose if that feels good, or hanging out in the center. Awesome. On our next exhalation, you're going to bring your toes together. Keep the knees opened up nice and wide. Interlace the fingertips either around the feet or around the ankles. Gently press your knees up towards the front of the room as you actively pull your feet up through center. Maybe even give yourselves a nice gentle shimmy from side to side into those hips. On your next exhalation, you're going to guide those knees back into the center line of the body. Take one full inhale. Exhale, plant your right foot down to the floor. Plant your left foot down to the floor. From here, you're going to heel toe those feet together and let those knees flop open like a boat, coming into your reclining Baddha Konasana. Now you're welcome to use any supports if you'd like. If you want to prop this Baddha Konasana up a little bit, you can bring that pillow that I suggested, and again, just folding it in half and placing it down to the center line of the back, and giving yourselves a nice little prop up if that feels good. Let's take time for about 5 more full deep breaths. And on our next exhalation, we're going to make our way down into our final resting pose. So begin to lengthen those arms and legs out from the body. Let those feet float out wider than the mat. Let those arms float out wider than the mat. Roll those shoulder blades back and underneath of the body. And again, if you have your pillow or your blanket and you'd like to use it, you can always welcome to do so. So today I'd like to suggest bringing the pillow underneath of the knees to give yourselves a little bit of support there. So it feels nice and gentle. Have that pillow underneath of your knees. And again, you can bring that blanket all the way over the length of the body, getting yourselves nice and cozy and warm into your Shavasana. Take your time to get there. Allow yourself to honor this practice, honor where you've landed. Honor the time that we spent together today as a community, practicing as a whole. Close down those eyes, connect back to the breath. And allow yourself to just be. Be here in this moment within this room, only taking up space. And again, letting go of all of the rest, letting go of thoughts outside of this body, and allow yourself to stay here. Now this finishes the end of our practice, and I welcome you all to stay here in your Shavasana for a little bit longer if you can. And once again, I'd like to close off this practice with the sound of Om. So keep that into your heart space today. I'm going to bring my hands into the heart center and close you off with the sound of Om. And again, thank you all so much for practicing. I hope you all have a lovely day.